wanted to continue the discussion today from the video I posted the other day, which was about awareness and um, present moment practice, present moment being. I had a client recently that, is feeling stuck in something that he is doing, wants to execute on a certain task, but feels very unsafe in this task and is afraid to be seen. And certainly, with a lot of people, there is room for a lot of exploration as to why, you know, such habit is there. What is the trauma? How, a person has lived through their childhood, how they were treated as a child, and all of those wounds and traumas that have been experienced in their life. And certainly when I work with people, I mean, this is part of the discussion. This is part of peeling the onion and understanding where a person's at. And at the same time, what I've also noticed in working with many clients over the years is that there's also individuals that come forward that are very well aware of their traumas. They're very well aware of where these certain beliefs have come from, how they've developed, and they're aware of a surface level belief. And maybe through our discussion, we can get to the deeper level of, what is the underlying belief beneath it all, which oftentimes I feel it just comes to a place of not feeling good enough. I find most things come down to this, it's either a fear of something, and then there's this sense of I'm not enough. And so knowing all that, and we can explore that with myself or another coach or a therapist. But what I've come to understand over the years is that still at the end of the day, you still have to choose. So even with all the therapy and with all the healings and all the things you are doing, which are wonderful, I don't want to discount them, and certainly I also offer that to people, and it's helpful. But yet there comes a point in your life where you understand all that and you still have to choose. You still have to choose the next day or in the next moment how you want to be, how you want to feel, and how you want to choose differently. And what I also can see very consistently is that one of the main principles that is overlooked and missing and not being given a lot of attention to because people want a healing, people want, you know, the modality that's finally going to fix this. But in actual fact, they're just not in the present moment. That's all that's happening. They're not in the present moment, and they're overthinking about something in that moment that's actually stopping them from doing the thing that's happening. So all that's happening every time is they're not being present and they're not fully aware of what's happening. They think that they're aware on some level, but there's this lack of being present because they're in the past or the future. And then that stops them from actually doing what they want. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, there is absolutely many valid reasons to look at your past and to uncover all those things, and to, with different modalities, to be in a space where you understand yourself differently. But remember that you're still having to choose. Eventually, you have to choose how you want to be. You have to choose that you want to be in this new way. And the only thing that's actually stopping you really is this over concentration of being in the mind, not being in the present moment, and overthinking. And you're not in your heart. Because the more that we could try to practice shifting our awareness from the mind and shifting it down into the heart space, we would come to see that we could be more present when we shift down into our heart. And it's almost even very challenging to explain, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Because I actually really believe it's a unique experience for everyone of what that feels like to not be so mind focused, but to shift into the heart space and then to move from there. yeah, I think it's actually something you have to experience to understand what that means for you. And the only way to get there is to start practicing. The only way to get there is to be curious. Okay, what does it mean for me if I'm going to be in my heart right now as I'm moving through this part of the day, as I go see these people, as I try to do this task? What does it feel like if I shift from here and I shift to here and I take a breath and then I choose? What will that feel like for me? How will that be different for me? Because I see it over and over again that people are coming to me, wanting, of course, to have certain things shifted and changed. And sometimes the most simplest thing I can say to them, which is hard because I feel like I'm not honoring their feelings and where they're at, but it's like, you're just not being present. That's all that's happening right now, because you know everything, you have the tools, but the only thing you're not practicing is just being present, being in the present moment, and reminding yourself that I get to choose right now. I am empowered right now to choose this differently, no matter what the backstory is about my life, no matter what the story is about the trauma. I get to choose. I can shift into the present moment. I can shift this experience and this perspective that I have from my heart space. And I can see how I actually get to choose differently right now. And I can choose something that I want to experience. And sometimes that's actually all that's needed in a person's journey. And I'm speaking to those of you that have understood what your traumas are, that have understood, you know, all the different experiences that have impacted your life up until now, and you're still feeling stuck. Stop being stuck. Just come to the present moment and ask yourself, what do I really want right now? What do I want to choose right now? What do I have the ability to choose right now? A very simple, easy task that I can choose in this now moment, and choose that and move from there and watch the momentum start to change. And then eventually there's nothing to fix because we are all perfect. There is nothing to fix. We actually just need to be more present and in our heart. And I think things start to flow from there. We don't need to fix anybody on the outside. We just need to reflect inside. What is it about me that I want to shift and choose differently right now? So I hope this helps. I felt like this was such a great continuation to the conversation that I posted about the other day, which is just it, like I'm starting to see more and more, as I have for a while now, that everything is just about being present. And I think it's hard sometimes to accept that because we want things to kind of be more complicated in a way. I mean, we don't want that, but yet we're always kind of making it more complicated than it needs to be. And it doesn't need to be. We just need to remember, I need to come back to the present moment. Because clearly, right now, if I'm having fear to do XYZ, then I'm not present. I'm somewhere else worrying about something. I'm worrying about something in the past. I'm worrying about something in the future. I'm actually not present right now within my body and within my heart space. Because if I were to try that, maybe there would be a different outcome in what I'm wanting to experience. So, yeah, I'm just here to remind you again that try to see if you can make things simpler for yourself and less complicated, and see how you can just remind yourself to become present and to practice being present, and how that can shift things for you.